Hari Om, Hari Om. Namaste to all. Namaste to all. Hari Om. After a gap of 2 weeks, this discourse we are commencing today on Viveka Chudamani. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta Sadguru, Shrotriya Sadguru Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us. Today's discourse will continue. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Putra Bhashyakrito Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sarvavedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranadosmiham Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya Harihi Om. Literally, there was a gap of 2 weeks, and just to recapitulate where we had stopped last time, we had stopped at the verse or shloka number 338, Viveka Chudamani. You know, those set of shlokas, what Acharya now had already started, mainly denote the method or methodology to be adopted to remain as Atmanishtha. In other words, the highest philosophy is speaking here about the one-pointed concentrated meditation or meditative technique. In other words, he is taking us here into the most difficult word to be explained from the sense of Vedantic point, that is the nature of Samadhi. Now, the last time, again, the point what Acharya made was so important, yet it is so difficult to decipher, so difficult to understand for all of us actually. You know, he was talking about to his disciple, the highest qualified Mumukshu, Jijnasu, Uttamadhikari, the disciple. Acharya was talking, telling that Sarvatmana Bandha Vimukti Hetuho Sarvatma Bhavat Na Parosti Kaschit Drishyagrahe Sati Upapadyate Asau Sarvatma Bhavo Asya Sadatma Nishthay. Drishyagrahe Sati Sarvatma Bhavaha Asya Upapadyate. That was the point he mentioned. See, the liberation from bondage occurs only by identifying oneself with the whole universe. Sarvatma Bhava, he was Acharya, emphasizing on the point Sarvatma Bhava. That was in the shloka 338, last time covered. See, Sarvatma Bhava, as to recapitulate what was said last time, the explanation given by Mahaswamigal, Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal here on this shloka, Mahaswami says as an explanation to this shloka, Aham Brahmasmi yo Veda sa sarvam bhavati tvidam. ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ತಮ್ಮ ವಿವರಣೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಸ್ಮಿ ಯೋ ವೇದ ಸ ಸರ್ವಂ ಭವತಿ ತ್ವಿದಂ. He who realizes the supreme reality, the absolute Parabrahma Tattva or Paramatma or God in common parlance as we call, the one who realizes that Brahma, Padartha, Parabrahma Vastu becomes all this. Becomes all this. That's what Mahaswami writes. A rope will bind only what it is other than the rope itself. If the fire does not burn itself, but burns every other thing. So, when identification with everything is attained, that is called Sarvatma Bhava. So, Sarvatma Bhava, Mahaswami says, identifying oneself with everything. Mahaswami also writes here, taking a point, Mahavachana from Kaivalya Upanishad. Kaivalya Upanishad says, Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Samapashyan Brahma Paramam Yati Nanyena Hetuna. Kaivalya Upanishad says, Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam Sarva Bhutani Chatmani Samapashyan Brahma Paramam Yati Nanyena Hetuna. Na Anyena Hetuna. So that means what? One attains the supreme Parabrahma Vastu, Brahma Padartha, or he realizes his own reality, Atma Padartha. In other words, Brahma Sakshatkar. Only by seeing Atman in all the creatures and all creatures in the Atman itself. In other words, seeing the self everywhere in all beings and then seeing or perceiving all beings within the self itself. This is what Kaivalya Upanishad says. So, not by any other method. Only by this method emancipation occurs, Kaivalya occurs, salvation occurs. In other words, you realize your true nature. What does it actually mean once again? Sarvatma Bhava. See, this word keeps haunting because however much it is explained by all Mahatmans, see, our dull-headed wit, our own mind, our own buddhi or intellect, it is very difficult for our buddhi or mind, chitta, whatever name we give to our anthakarana, to understand, because mere verbal understanding is not sufficient unless the insight inputs are given or perceived by the grace of the Sadguru. So the Sadguru's grace, Anugraha, is required to understand these subtle concepts. Sarvatma Bhavada ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ. ಈ ಬುದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ. ಶಾಬ್ದಿಕ ಅರ್ಥ ಉಂಟಾದರೂ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅದರ ಒಳನೋಟ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆದಂತೆ ಅನಿಸಿದರೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳು ಇದರ ವಿವರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಶಂಕರರ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧವಾದ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಸರ್ಪರಜ್ಜುನ್ಯಾಯ. ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಬ್ಬುಗತ್ತಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಜೆ ಗತ್ತಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಕು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾವು ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ, ಚಲಿಸ್ದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಹತ್ತಿರ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಬೆಳಕನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಹತ್ತಿರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಧಾನವಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಹಗ್ಗ, ಹಾವಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸರ್ಪರಜ್ಜು ನ್ಯಾಯ. ಅದೇ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆಸಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮುನಿ, ಯತಿ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ ದೃಶ್ಯ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಆತ್ಮವಸ್ತು, ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ವಸ್ತು, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಅದು ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹಗ್ಗ ಮೊದಲಿಂದನೂ ಇದೆಯೋ, ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಗ್ಗ ವಸ್ತುತಃ ಹಗ್ಗವೇ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ, ನಮಗೆ ಅದು ಹಾವಾಗಿ ಕಂಡಾಗಲೂ ಸಹ ಅದು ಹಗ್ಗವೇ ಆಗಿತ್ತೋ, ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಮೂಲ ಹಗ್ಗವೇ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ಅದು ಭ್ರಾಂತಿಯಿಂದ ಸರ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಮೊದಲು ತೋರಿಕೆಗೆ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅದು ಕೇವಲ ತೋರಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ವಿವೇಚನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೂಲದಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಸದ್ವಸ್ತು ಒಂದೇ ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಪದಾರ್ಥದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಆರೋಪಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಈ ದೃಶ್ಯ ಜಗತ್ತು ಆರೋಪಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಈ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಂಡ ಆರೋಪಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಮನದಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಸೀಸ್ ದಿ ಆತ್ಮನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಧಿಷ್ಠಾನ, main substratum of all the creatures, just like as a rope in the Sarparajju Nyaya example. And also all the creatures in the Atman imagined as a snake upon the rope. That is how a jnani will decipher by his viveka, by the power of discrimination. So substratum is the pure chaitanya, pure consciousness. That is the supreme consciousness, the supreme awareness. That substratum is a pure consciousness or Brahma Padartha, subtlest, and that is Sarvatma Bhava. That is Kaivalya. That's what Mahaswami writes and continues, his explanations on this Sarvatma Bhava as expounded by Acharya in this shloka number 338. So there is no liberation from the bondage other than identifying oneself with the whole universe. So until that Sarvatma Bhava is potentially, primarily, personally, it is experienced first hand by the Antakarana, totally, then only the liberation sets in. That is a point here in the shloka, which was covered last time. So I was just recapitulating some of the points there. So we take up the next shloka, 339. It is a fairly big one, long one with a Drishyasyagrahanam katham no ghatade dehatmana tishtato bahyarthanubhava prasakta manas tat kriyam kurvataha sanyasyakhila dharma karma vishayair nityatmanishta parai tatvajñai karaniyamatmani sadanandechubhi yatnataha. Drishyasyagrahanam, if you speak, Drishyasya agrahanam, Drishyasya agrahanam, Drishyasyagrahanam katham nu ghatate dehatmana tishtato बाह्यार्थानुभव प्रसक्त मनस तत्तत् क्रियां कुर्वतः. The first two charanas Acharya explains so beautifully here. See, earlier he made the point very clear. What is the point? Once the serious sadhaka or mumukshu or the yati or the muni who is doing sincerely the sadhana to reach the reality, to decipher his own true nature, ultimately he has to give up reacting. He has to give up being a part of this samsara or the prapancha or the world or materialistic world. Drushya grahana means attachment to the world, attaching yourself with the worldly activities by dehatma bhava. ಶರೀರಾಭಿಮಾನದಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದಂತಹ ನಾನೇ ಈ ಶರೀರ, ನಾನೇ ಈ ದೇಹ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನಗಳು, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರು, ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೌಕಿಕರು ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವೇ ಸತ್ಯ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಅವರ ವರ್ತನೆಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಭಗವತ್ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆಗೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೊರಗಿನ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಳುಗುತ್ತೋ, ನಮ್ಮ 5 ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಜಗತ್ತನ್ನ ಆಸ್ವಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇವೋ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆ ನಿಲ್ಲದೆ, ಆತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠನಾಗದೆ, ದೇಹವೇ ನಾನು, ಈ ಶರೀರವೇ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಅಭಿಮಾನದಿಂದ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಮಮಕಾರಗಳಿಗೆ ದಾಸನಾಗಿ ಮಾಯೆಯ ಪ್ರಭಾವದಿಂದ ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಸತ್ಯ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಸತ್ಯ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ದೇಹ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು ಇಂಥವಳು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವದಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕ ಹಾಗೆ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕ ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ಬಿಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ is putting a question to the disciple. Look, my dear disciple, ದೃಶ್ಯಸ್ಯ ಅಗ್ರಹಣಂ ಕಥಂ ಘಟತೆ. ದೃಶ್ಯಸ್ಯ ಅಗ್ರಹಣಂ ಕಥಂ ನು ಘಟತೆ. What does it mean? Not perceiving, non-apprehension of the world. Look, my dear disciple, how is this non-apprehension, non-perceiving of the world, worldly activities, worldly pleasures, reaction to the world, attachment to the world? Non-attachment, non-apprehension of the worldly activities. How is it possible for normal people, for all the people, ajnanis, who identifies himself with the body? Look, my dear disciple, this detachment from the worldly affairs, giving up the association with the worldly affairs, in other words, drushyasya agrahana, giving up attachment, giving up the feeling of world is real, I am so and so, I am the body, I am reacting to the world. My day-to-day life with all my 5 senses, my 5 sensors, sense organs are projecting to the world. They are perceiving information from the world. We are reacting because of these sense inputs. So all my actions are controlled by the more and more I am involved in the worldly life, worldly activities, normal day-to-day activities. So when that is the case, I go with the feeling that I am the body, I am this body. Then look, my dear disciple, how such a person can dissociate himself from the worldly activity as long as he is immersed in that. Drushyasya agrahanam khatam nu ghatate. See, anybody's mind which is given to enjoying the external world, worldly objects, sensuous objects, how such a person whose mind is totally attached to the worldly activities, how he can dissociate from such his own activity? Because he is under the total conviction that I am the body. I am, see, his ego, ahankara, is completely controlling everything under the spell of Maya. I am this body, I am so and so. I have so much of things to do in my life. See, I have so much of goals set in my life. I have to complete all the tasks. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have a lot of duties, and I have a lot of aspirations. I have a lot of ambitions. See, the word aspiration, the word ambition is the most important, potent driving force in all of our life. Whether it's a poor man or the richest of the rich man, whether it's an ordinary personality or the great dictator in the world, see, the ambition, that desire, aspiration always motivates and drives so that we get more and more attached to the worldly life. And accordingly, we perform our actions. Bhashyarthanabhava prasakta manasa tat tat priyam kurvataha. So when I'm pursuing all my activities, how I can be dissociated myself from this worldly activity, my dear disciple? दृश्यस्य अग्रहणं कथं नु घटते देहात्मना तिष्ठतो बाह्यार्थानुभव प्रसक्त मनसः तत्तत् क्रियां कुर्वतः. The question Acharya is putting to the disciple. Next two charanas, he says, so it is what he intends here is, first two lines, majority common people. Common people means spiritually ajnanis. Spiritually they are blind. So they may be richest of the rich, poorest of the poor, throughout the universe, throughout the Brahmanda, in the entire world, all people who are spiritually blind, how can they get dissociated themselves from this worldly activity? Because two things, they are rooted themselves in the feeling that I am the body, I am so and so. So with the feeling of I, the mind concept also has joined. Please remember, repeatedly Acharya has spoken about these two things. Ahankara plus mamakara. Ahankara plus mamakara. When there is dehatma buddhi or sharira abhimana, means ahankara, ego. I am so and so. The moment I say I am, identifying to the body and my name and form, my status, I am a big businessman, I am a big dictator, I am a big politician, I am a big celebrity, I am a big tycoon, I am a big officer, I am a big lawyer, I am a farmer, I am a company director. So the moment I identify like that, see, people of my own, they come into the picture. My people, my family, mamakara, my husband, my wife, my children, my kids and kins, my brothers, my sisters, my parents, my grandparents, my relatives, my father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, etc., etc., etc. ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನನ್ನದು ಅಂತ ಬಂದೇ ಬಿಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಸಾರಿ ಸಾರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಹಂಕಾರದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಮಕಾರ, ಅಹಂಕಾರವಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಮಕಾರ, ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಮಮಕಾರ. ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ನನ್ನದು ಅಂತ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಮಮಕಾರಗಳ ಈ ಬಂಧನದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶರೀರಾಭಿಮಾನ ತುಳುಕ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದೃಶ್ಯದ ಅಗ್ರಹಣ, ದೃಶ್ಯವನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು, ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚನ ಬಿಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಇನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್, ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಇಸ್ ಪುಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. When you are totally involved in the worldly affair, worldly life, worldly activity, materialistic activity, what not, you name. When I am fully involved, morning to evening, day and night, and all my activities are connected, they are geared up, they are directed, they are dictated according to my mental plan, according to my ambitious feelings, according to the force of aspiration driving me to achieve certain goals, to get something, to possess something. See, restlessly my mind is always trying to appease something, to appease someone. So I'm trying to get a sort of everything, whatever possible, to accrue, to acquire, to get, so that I have a feeling that by acquiring all those, amassing so much of wealth, so much of things, so much of objects, ultimately I'll be very, very happy. My people will be very happy. My kids and kins will be very happy. So when these feelings are there, Acharya says, how on the earth drishyasya agrahanam khatam nu ghatate? How can you get dissociated from the prapancha itself, from the worldly affairs itself, from materialistic world itself? See, what Acharya means here is very, very logical point. See, if you are immersed totally in the worldly life, no, you can't expect to come out of that. And you can't say you want both, the best of both. You want the best of materialistic comforts, you want the best of social life, you want the best of highest wealthy life, and also you want the best of spiritual life. You want Brahma Sakshatkar, you want God, you want Brahma Padartha, you want Bhagavad Sakshatkar, you want Brahma Sakshatkara, you want to be liberated, you want to be emancipated, you want salvation at the same time. See, both are like, opposites, south and north pole. If you are totally involved in materialistic life, along with that, if you want Brahma Sakshatkara also, how is it possible? That's what Acharya is meaning. That is what he actually means here in the first two charanas. Elsewhere, Mahaswami, Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswami, he made this point in a very simple statement. Very, very simple statement. Even a person, Ajnani like me, without knowing Sanskritam at all, without studying Sanskritam language at all, even Ajnani like me can understand that. What Mahaswamigal stated once. He put it in the form of a question to the disciple, his disciple. Vidyarthino kuta sukha, sukharthino kuta vidya. Chandrasekhar Bharati Mahaswamigal said once, Vidyarthino kuta sukha, sukharthino kuta vidya. So remember how Sukharthino kuta vidya, question mark, Mahaswami says. Sukharthi means if we are totally immersed in pleasurable, worldly, sensuous life, enjoyment, sensuous pleasures, seeking more and more pleasure, driving yourself in the worldly activity to fulfill your ambitions, to obtain the pleasure, sukha, pleasure, sukha, pleasure, sukharthi, you are always in pursuit of pleasure and happiness, sukha. Such a person always immersed, always, his mind geared up to get sukha, happiness and pleasure. Sukharthino kutah vidya, Mahaswami. So for such a person, where is that vidya? Vidya here means, from the Vedantic point of view, Adhyatma Vidya. The highest form of Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge. So Mahaswami is such a beautiful point. Person who is always reveling in pleasures of life, how can he think of Adhyatma Vidya? How can his mind can come towards God realization, Bhagavad Sakshatkara? It is not possible. His mind cannot. At the same time, Mahaswami said, Vidyarthino kuta sukha. So Vidyarthi, the one who is after Vidya. Vidyarthi. Which Vidya? Adhyatma Vidya. The one who is after spiritual knowledge. The one who wants to ultimately realize his true nature. The one who wants to tread the path of spirituality. Such an aspirant, such a wonderful, noble soul, Acharya Mahaswami says, Vidyarthi, in that sense. Vidyarthino kutasukha. So where is the worldly pleasure distracting him, such a person who is after spiritual wealth, who is after spiritual knowledge? ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗೆ ಸುಖದ ಚಿಂತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸುಖಾರ್ಥಿಗೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯ ಚಿಂತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಒಂದ್ಸಲ. ಸುಖಾರ್ಥಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ಪ್ರಾಪಂಚಿಕ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ? ಅಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯೆಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ? ಹಾಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥವನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಪಂಚಿಕ ಸುಖ ಆಸೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನು ಸಂಬಂಧ? ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನೋ ಕುತಃಸುಖ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಎರಡು ಚರಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಸನ್ಯಸ್ತಾಖಿಲ ಧರ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮ ವಿಷಯೈರ್ ನಿತ್ಯಾತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠಾಪರೈ ತತ್ವಜ್ಞೈ ಕರಣೀಯಮಾತ್ಮನಿ ಸದಾನಂದೇಚ್ಛುಭಿಯತ್ನತಃ. ಸದಾನಂದ ಇಚ್ಛುಭಿಹಿ, that is a key word here. The one who seeks Nityananda, the one who seeks Paramananda, the one who seeks Nijananda, the one who seeks the real bliss, Brahmananda, everlasting, ever changing, all the time present, that supreme bliss, Brahmananda, Brahma Sukha, Brahmanubhava, Atmanubhava it means. So, the person who is Sadananda Ichchuvihi, the one who wants such a type of real bliss or Ananda, who is such a person? Nityatma Nishtha Pare, the one who is Atma Nishtha, Tattvajnai, the one who is a Tattvavetta, one he is a Tattvadarshi, one who is a real Mumukshu, Sanyasta Akila Dharma Karma Vishayai. Only such a person, sanyasta, means by giving up. Akhila dharma karma vishayai, by giving up all types of dharmas, all types of karmas, and all types of vishayai, objects, pleasurable objects, sensuous objects, objects of pleasure, objects of enticing mental qualities. So by giving up, sanyasta means by just renunciating, by giving up, not interested, not attached, by giving up. Akhila dharma karma vishayai nityatma nishthaparai tattvajnai sadanandechubhi atmani yatnatah karaniyam. only such people who are Tattvajna, who are Atmanishtha para, and who have given up, not interested, least bothered. Given up means not interested, mentally almost giving up, no attachment, no association with Akhila Dharma Karma Vishayayi, all types of dharmas and all types of karmas. Here Mahaswami writes, dharma here means Vaidika dharma. By giving up all types of Vaidika dharma, karma kanda, as shown in Vedas, ಕರ್ಮಕಾಂಡದಲ್ಲಿ ವೇದಗಳ ಕರ್ಮಕಾಂಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವೈದಿಕ ಕರ್ಮಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ವೈದಿಕ ಧರ್ಮಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಆಸಕ್ತಿಯೂ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಅಂತಹ ಧರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರ್ಮ, ಲೌಕಿಕ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಇಷ್ಟಾರ್ಥ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಜ್ಞ ಹೋಮ ಹವನಾದಿ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಧರ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು. ಸೊ Sanyasta Akila Dharma Karma means, Mahaswami writes here, that giving up all types of your Vaidika activities, Vaidika dharmic activities, which are intended to provide Abhyudaya, Aishwarya, happiness in this life, and also happiness in the other life. That is, in order to obtain the heaven, in order to go to the heaven after death. All the karmas related in the Vedas pertain to all these things. Some of the yajnas, homa and havana and those Vaidika karmas, Laukika karmas, all pertain to our ultimately happiness in this life and happiness after the death. That is, in order to enter the heaven. But remember, these karmas, these Laukika karmas or Vaidika karmas, will never result in eternal realization or self-realization or emancipation. They will never make the person totally free of the bondage of the samsara. Samsara remains for such people. After death, they go to the heaven and again they have to be reborn again as human beings. Again their life continues in the samsara. So, Mahaswami means here, Sanyasta Akila Dharma Karma Vishayai. By giving up your importance to all such Laukika dharmas, Vaidika karmas, all Homa, Havana, Yajna, Tapa, all such things, by giving up. Sadanandechubhihi Tattvajnaihi Yatnatah Karaniyam. So, by constant practice, such Tattvajna, such people who are escalated, who are exalted in spiritual life, who are the highest mumukshus in spiritual life, only they can do, they are eligible for this by constant effort. What? They are eligible for Drushyasya Agrahanam, dissociating from Prapancha, dissociating from material life. Ultimately, that dissociation leads to emancipation. That is the point. So it's a fairly long shloka. When the person's mind is given to the enjoyment of external life, materialistic life, and he acts accordingly, he will never get dissociated. He will never be ready for spiritual journey. He will remain in samsara, attached to samsara, and in the bondage, everlasting bondage. So his birth, death, rebirth, the cycle will continue. So samsara will continue for all such people. So only Tattvajnas, only real mumukshus who are Atmanishtha. Now, they can try to dissociate themselves from this worldly bondage and reach, ultimately, decipher and reach their own reality, the Swaswarup, their original nature, who I am. Only it is possible for a minuscule percentage of people who are really dead serious on this. Not for all, not for all. That is what Acharya means here. So then, next, he continues. Sarvatma siddhaye bhiksho krita shravana karmanah samadhim vididat yesha shanto dhanta iti shrutihi. सर्वात्म सिद्धये भिक्षोः कृतश्रवण कर्मणः समाधिं विदिधाति एषा शान्तो दान्त इति श्रुतिः. सर्वात्म सिद्धये भिक्षो कृतश्रवण कर्मणः भिक्षो सर्वात्म सिद्धये समाधिं विदिधाति एषा शान्तो दान्त इति श्रुतिः. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವೂ ಇದೇ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಇದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಗುರುವಿನಿಂದ ಉಪದೇಶವನ್ನ ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ವೇದಾಂತ ಶ್ರವಣ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷು ಯತಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ, ಆತನಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಿಯನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು. ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಶ್ರುತಿಯೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ವಿಷಯ. ಯಾವ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಶಾಂತೋ ದಾಂತ ಇತಿ ಶ್ರುತಿ. ಶಾಂತೋ ದಾಂತ ಎಂತ ಅನ್ನೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮಹಾವಾಕ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವು ಅಂತಹ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷುಗೆ ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಸಮಾಧಿಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ವಾಟ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸೇ, even the Shruti, that is Upanishad, says for a yati or a sannyasi, in order to develop Sarvatma Bhava Siddhi, Samadhi, the concentrated one-pointed contemplation, is actually prescribed even by the Upanishad. To get Sarvatma Siddhi, the yati or the muni, he has to cultivate constantly in his meditation. He must ultimately develop the point of one-pointed concentration. That means he should be able to enter into Samadhi state. This is Upanishad also says the same thing. This is what Acharya is telling to the disciple. Which Upanishad? Samadhim vididati esha shanto danta iti shrutihi. Shruti, Upanishad. Which Upanishad? That is Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad. There is a mantra here in Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad. The mantra is तस्माद् देवं विच्छान्तो दान्त उपरतस्थितिक्षु समाहितो भूत्वा आत्मन्येवात्मानं पश्यति सर्वमात्मानं पश्यति. That is the mantra of the Upanishad. तस्माद् देवं विच्छान्तो दान्त उपरतस्थितिक्षु समाहितो भूत्वा आत्मन्येवात्मानं पश्यति Sarvamatmanam pashyati. That is the Upanishad. Vachana is there, Anuvaka is there, Mahamantra is there. See, that means the mumukshu, the yati, the sadhaka, the spiritual aspirant, who is Shanta and Dan, and who has practiced Uparat, and who has practiced Titiksha, and who knows what he has become Samahita. Only such a person who is Shantaha and Dantaha, he will realize the self or the Atman in his own body within himself. He will realize the Atman within himself, and he will observe everything as his own Atman. That is the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಶಾಂತನು, ದಾಂತನು, ಉಪರತನು, ತಿತಿಕ್ಷುವು, ಸಮಾಹಿತನೂ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಶೀಲ ಮನನಶೀಲ ಯತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮುನಿಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಆತ್ಮನನ್ನು ಆತ ನೋಡುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಸರ್ವವನ್ನೂ ಆತ್ಮನನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೋಡುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಅನುಭವಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಬೃಹದಾರಣ್ಯಕ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. This is the point what Acharya is making here. Sarvatma siddhaye bhiksho kruta shavana karmana samadhim vididati. So ಆ ಬೃಹದಾರಣ್ಯಕ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂತಹ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷು, ಅಂತಹ ಯತಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಿಯನ್ನು ಉಪದೇಶ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸಮಾಧಿಯಿಂದಲೇ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವುದು? ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಭಾವ ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ಸಮಾಧಿಯಿಂದ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. So the Upanishad is saying, it is giving injunction that by undergoing samadhi state, that is the concentrated contemplation, concentrated deep meditation, in other words, totally one-pointed, concentrated, deep meditation can be simply referred as samadhi, because this ajnani is not in a position to explain anything more on the states of samadhi. Because the word samadhi remains as a dead letter word samadhi for most of us, because it has to be experienced. Now, what is this samadhi state? It cannot be explained. Even if Mahatmans try to explain, the onlooker may not understand what exactly the Mahatman is telling. Even if the Sadguru tells his disciple in front of him, who is sitting to listen, who is eagerly awaiting to listen, even such a disciple may not understand what the Sadguru is talking about samadhi. So these are very intricate, very difficult points to explain verbatim to each and everyone. It is not possible at all. See, that is the point here. So Acharya ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, what he says, even the Upanishad says to the qualified, well-qualified, Uttama Adhikari disciple that he should undergo the state of samadhi to experience first-hand, direct experience of reality, direct experience of self, direct experience of Parabrahma Vastu, that he himself is a Parabrahma Vastu. That feeling of Aham Brahmasmi, another Mahavakya. So that feeling of Aham Brahmasmi, it should occur inside. I am that Brahman only, that feeling, not feeling actually. Feeling is a wrong word. So abiding directly, unequivocally, without an iota of doubt that I am the Brahman, that state, abiding in that state that I am the Brahman. And ultimately, even that I am will vanish. Even that I am will vanish finally. Only Brahman will remain. Only Brahman will remain. Abiding in that statement, I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, the famous one of the 4 Mahavakyas of Upanishads in the Advaita parlance. Even the Aham and Asmi will vanish ultimately. Only Brahma Padartha will remain. That is the highest state of samadhi. The initial state of samadhi is realization of Aham Brahmasmi. Please follow this point very attentively. the initial state of samadhi is realizing aham brahmasmi principle. The highest state of the same realization ultimately leads to the negation of aham and asmi. Only Brahma that will remain. And there is nobody to explain that what it is, because everything is only one vastu, one sad vastu, Brahma Padartha. There is no other second. So everywhere in the entire cosmos or universe, only one vastu remains steadfastly, without change, eternally, without birth, without death, without any iota of change, without transformation. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಉಳಿಯತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ವಸ್ತು, ಸದ್ವಸ್ತು, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಪದಾರ್ಥ. ಅದು ಅಜ, ಅಮರ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾವಿಲ್ಲ, ಹುಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಥಾಕಾಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸದಾ ಆನಂದ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸತ್ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಚಿತ್ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಸ್ತು ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಇರೋದು, ಒಂದೇ ವಸ್ತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಾಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವವೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. That is the highest of samadhi, highest state of samadhi. So Acharya is hinting on that. Then the next verse is so important. It is Acharya is now explaining how difficult it is to enter into samadhi, or how difficult it is to realize the self, or how difficult it is to develop sarvatma bhava. See, please remember, sarvatma bhava means ultimately realizing yourself. There is only one. There is only one self, Atma Vastu. There is only Atma Vastu, and the same Atma Vastu is called Brahma Vastu. There is no difference between Brahma Padartha, Atma Padartha. Both are same. I am that only. I am that only. That is the ultimate, highest pinnacle of spiritual insight, direct experience, personal experience. I am that only. Aham Brahmasmi means the same thing. I am that only. So there is no second. So Kevala or Kaivalya means alone, no second. Kevalam or Kaivalya means alone, no second, only one vastu. There is only one eternal, primordial, Moola Sanatana Avyakta, the primordial unmanifest. That is only one Sadvastu. That is the supreme consciousness, the supreme awareness. So it is called Kaivalya or Kevalam, alone. So next Acharya continues. Arudha Shakte ahamo vinashaha kartum na shakyah sahasapi panditaihi ye nirvikalpaksha samadhi nischala sthanantara ananta bhavahi vasana. Arudha Shakte ahamo vinashaha kartum na shakyah sahasapi panditaihi ye nirvikalpaksha samadhi nischala anantarananta bhavahi vasana. What Acharya says here, ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿಯನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊರಪಡಿಸಿ ಅಂಥವ್ರನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಾನಂತರ, ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿಯ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸಿದಂತಹ ಮಹಾನ್ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇತರೆಯವರು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಪಂಡಿತರಾಗಿರಲಿ ಸಹಸಾಪಿ ಪಂಡಿತೈ ಆರೂಢ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಹಮೋ ವಿನಾಶಃ ಕರ್ತುಂ ನ ಶಕ್ಯಃ. ಆರೂಢ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಹಂ ವಿನಾಶಃ ಕರ್ತುಂ ನ ಶಕ್ಯಃ. ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಪಂಡಿತರಾಗಿದ್ರು, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞರಾಗಿದ್ರು, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ವೇದಗಳನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಅಂಥವರಿಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಬಲವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ ಅಹಂಕಾರವನ್ನ ವಿನಾಶ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಾಶ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿಲ್ವೋ ಅಂಥವರಿಗೆ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ವಿನಾಶ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು. ಏ ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪಾಖ್ಯ ಸಮಾಧಿ ನಿಶ್ಚಲ ಆನಂತರ ಅನಂತ ಭವ ಹಿ ವಾಸನ. ಅನಂತ ಭವ ವಾಸನ, ಅನಂತ ಭವ ಹಿ ವಾಸನ. ಹಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್, ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅನಂತ ಭವ ವಾಸನ, ಜನ್ಮ ಜನ್ಮಾಂತರಗಳಿಂದ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ತುಂಬಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮಗಳಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಂತಹವರಿಗೆ ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿರ್ವಿಕಲ್ಪ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ವಿನಾಶ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಹಂಕಾರ, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವನು, ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥವಳು ಅನ್ನೋ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ನಾಶ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಬಲವಾಗಿದೆ. ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಬಲವಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ಷವಾಗಿ ಅನುಭವ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಸ್ಮಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಆ ಮಹಾವಾಕ್ಯದ ಅನುಭವ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನೇರ ಅನುಭವ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ, ಅದು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ವಿನಾಶ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸೇಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಆರೂಢ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಹಮೋ ವಿನಾಶ ಕರ್ತುಂ ನ ಶಕ್ಯ ಸಹಸಾಪಿ ಪಂಡಿತೈ. See, a person who is an expert shastrajna or scholar, Vedic scholar, who has known, who knows everything, who is an expert, who can give beautiful, mesmerizing lectures on Vedanta, who knows everything. His audience gets spellbound by the way he narrates discourses. However good he is, a Shastraveta, it is difficult for such a person to destroy the ahankara or ego. The ego cannot be destroyed even by the wise men who are scholars, great Vedic scholars, great orators. Even for such people, destruction of ego is almost impossible. Because it is so powerful. Arudha shakti aham vinashah kartum na shakyah sahasapi panditaihi. Panditaihi means scholars, great shastravetas. Even sahasapi panditaihi kartum na shakyah. They cannot cut down this ahankar, vinash. They cannot come out of the ahankara or ego problem. The ego persists, diversifies, magnifies, enlarges, bloats as the fame and name of the scholar rises in the materialistic world, as hundreds of followers flock to listen to the lecture, hundreds of people become his disciples or devotees. They come with folded hands, they pour the money with all the other facilities, and they sit and listen. With that, what happens? The ego gradually rises instead of destruction. So there is ascendancy of the ego rather than disappearance of the ego. So ahankara vinasha is very difficult. Destruction of ego is so difficult, even for a scholars like such a people. So only, Acharya says, ye nirvikalpakhya samadhi nischala tanantara ananta bhavahi vasan. Now, why it is difficult for them? Because their vasanas, previous birth vasanas, tendencies, are very strong. See, the name and fame and the wealth and all the pleasures they get in life by becoming popular orators or scholars, no, they don't want to give up that. They never want to give up that. So the attraction of money is there, attraction of wealth is there, pomp and glory and pelf, everything is there. People flock, and you become a real God man. You presume to be the real God. Whether you are really God man or not, you presume because people start praising you. People start uplifting you in elogious terms. So your ego loads instead of going down. Ahankara Vinasha is not possible. It is possible only in case of Nirvikalpakya Samadhi Nischala, Tanantara. So, Nirvikalpa Samadhi Nischala, Nischala Nirvikalpakya Samadhi Tanantara. Tanantara means without. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Ahankara Nasha will not occur. Destruction of ego will not occur. Destruction of the feeling of I means aham. Aham means sharirabhimana. Dehabhimana will not go away. Only in a samadhi state, this can be destroyed. That is the point here Acharya is making. So the samadhi point Acharya is explaining like anything here. Why you don't enter into samadhi? Because he says here specifically because of the vasanas of the previous birth. We have carried all tendencies, impressions from previous birth, all our desires unfulfilled. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನೇನು ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, ಏನೇನು ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಅವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಈ ಜನ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸನೆಗಳ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಚಿತ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇಖರಣೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಆ ವಾಸನೆಗಳ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೊರಮುಖವಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜಗಮುಖವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಹೊರತು ಅದು ಸಮಾಧಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಇಳಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಧ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಧಿಯ ಅನುಭವ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಧ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಳವಾದ ಧ್ಯಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಾಧಿಯ ಅನುಭವ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ವಿನಾಶ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಹಂಕಾರದ ವಿನಾಶ, destruction of ego, very difficult. That is what Acharya says. Aroda shakte ahamo vinashah kartum na shakyah sahasapi panditaihi ye nirvikalpakya samadhi nischala tanantara ananta bhavahi vasana. That is what Acharya is hinting at. Samadhi. So with Guru Sankalpa, we are stopping here at the shloka number 341 today. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namo Bhagavate Viraj.
Beautiful way to begin the new year, sir. Thank you for the Amritadhare.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.